Welcome, guys, to another episode of a tier list. This time, we're going to be doing Pixar and Disney movies. But before we get started, I wanted to vent today. Finally got this replaced off my PC. It came with the freaking the cyber power, and I replaced it with this bad boy. Finally got something. Got it off eBay. I'm not sure if they're selling it anymore, but I got it for 35 bucks and it works great. Yeah, it took forever. It had so many different screws, while this one you just pop it in and that's it. Oh man. All right. Well, let's get this started. So just to talk, I separated all the ones I've never really seen or seen just once or twice and really don't have an opinion on them. Maybe I'll just give them a rewatch, but these are all the ones that I believe I've seen enough to still have an opinion about them. But let's get started with 101 Dalmatians. I remember seeing all of them, and I believe they came up with a live action of Cruella de Vil, which kind of did a little bit different. But if we're just talking about like the animated series and stuff, I felt like it was still a good story. Had, you know, when I was a kid, I wanted to see it, but just not always like the first thing, right? It was just there. I saw it on VCR, but unlike that, I would actually watch Bugs Life. I would watch the hell out of Bugs Life. I don't know why, but I think it was S tier. I watched this thing 100 times and never get tired of it. I remember my dad telling me, like, you know, there was a specific scene where they're like, burn him again. Never get tired of that. And I would just crack up. Aladdin. You know what? If we're talking about the voice actor, Robin Williams, I'm gonna have to give it an A. I know Will Smith did the live action, and I know the difference between the two was very, abundant. But I preferred the Robin Williams version. I wouldn't give it and watch it 100 times, but I would definitely give it I would watch it maybe 50 times before I got tired of it. Alice in the Wonderland. It wasn't my go-to. My older sister really liked it. It was kind of different from any of the others shows, but still something that I would not want to watch. I think it was kind of boring. I fell asleep plenty of times when they put movies on. Atlantis, by far, it was ahead of its time. Not better than Bugs Life, I don't think so, or at the same level, but definitely at the level of Aladdin. Atlantis gave me a lot of good memories of Mole. It reminded me of, I just thought it was hilarious. But I think the first movie is a lot better than the second movie, and then the series kind of threw me off. I'd rank the series like an F. It was bad. It was very confusing. Since it was on TV, I just watched it out of order, and it never really I don't know, really liked it too much. Bambi. If we're considering it like all of them, all the movies, Bambi was a solid B tier. I could not say that it was the greatest, but enough where it was better than 101 Dalmatians. I've seen it so many times, never really got tired of it. It was just kind of different. I liked it when Bambi's dad showed up, like on the hill. It was just epic. I watched that scene over and over again. Beauty and the Beast, such a classic. I'm gonna have to give this, an S. I would say the live action with Emma Watson was not as good. I mean, she played the part phenomenally, but I just thought if you're comparing the two, I grew up on this Beauty and the Beast and not that one. So I'm pretty biased on that, but I would definitely give it an S tier. I've watched it plenty of times, never really got tired of it. Could watch it again tomorrow and not feel bad about it or feel like I wasted my time. Big Hero 6. I know this was actually could have gotten a second movie. I don't know if if they would ever do that, but when I watched it in the movie theaters, it was great. But when I watched it on like DVD, I kind of like picked it apart, and I was like, man, they could have done this better, this better, this better. I felt like some of the acting was, or the voice lines were a bit corny. When you kind of look at it when you're first time watching it, you don't analyze them as much, unless you're really looking for it. Bolt, hamster. The hamster is worth watching it over and over again. I feel like the hamster made the whole movie, the funny part, because Bolt wasn't that funny. It was like serious, kind of sad. He was lost majority of the time living with the fact that he lost his power, or now he's like a normal dog. Brave. I I like the brothers. I like the scene with where they turn into three bears and they hunt down the I guess their caregiver, and they get the key back. I think that's the funniest shit ever. But I don't think it's a C. I think it might be a B. I feel like the ending was really fulfilling and the build up was actually really good. They had like an actual enemy the whole time. They didn't even know. Brother Bear, a fantastic movie. I could watch this 100 times, and I have in the past. The mooses are hilarious, and living in the reality that he's now a bear, and that the little cub that just lost his mom, I think, maybe his dad also, and that it was probably the cause of some of his tribesmen who killed his bear or his dad, and he was like kind of hurt. Like I remember that specific scene where he looks at him, and they're looking at the humans that are with spears inside the cave, and he's like scared of them, and it put him like into the realization. It's like, wow, they're just as afraid also. Cars. First one was peak. Second one was meh. Third one, wait, no, they didn't. The first one was great. The second one was shit. The third one was It was not the greatest. I think they could have changed the ending a little bit better. If they did like a better homage to Doc, where Doc essentially gave up. Not really gave up, but like was the people that was around him turn on him because he hurt himself. While when this exact same thing happened to Stickers here, he kind of just gave up. And he just gave up, and it was like, I don't know. I feel like the ending could have done a lot better. I remember the author, the director of it was like, no, it didn't make any sense if he won. There wouldn't be a lesson. There would not be like a big thing. It'd be kind of boring. And I'm like, I don't know. Everybody was expecting him to win. But when he was like, you get in there, I don't know. I think in the last 10-15 minutes into it, to the end, I kind of wasn't expecting it. But just into the realization that he was older. He's not in his peak performance anymore. Chicken Little. The pig and the fish are so freaking funny. I could watch it about 50 times before I get tired of it, and I think I have in the past. But I won't say that it's an S tier. Like, I would not watch it 100 times because I think it just gets a little stale and boring. It's like rinse and repeat. There's funny stuff here and there, but not as much as I thought would make it S, or development of the character. Because at the very end, he was just himself the entire time throughout the movie, and just people just trusted him more. Cinderella. You know what? I'm gonna have to say this is just the same, about a D. I'm a guy. I really don't like princess kind of shows. I know the little mice have their own little additive type of creativity to the whole plot, and I thought that was good. But I know they had like a second one or a third one too, maybe even a show. But if we're just talking about the original, they were pretty good. Coco, I have to give it yeah, I'm gonna give it a B. You know, I could watch it maybe like 20-30 times before I just got bored of it. Um, you know, I don't think that when I watched it in the movie theater was as good as I remember, because when I went home and I watched it later on Disney Plus, I think it's on Disney Plus. It's just not as good. You know, I like the really good animation with it, though it was very innovative. But just the storyline just seemed a bit bland. I mean, the twist at the end was still good, but not as though it could be like breaking, like it could be like as good as Atlantis or Aladdin or even Bolt. Um, I think it's still on the same, like, if you compare the two, and they could probably come out with another movie. Who knows? Later on, dinosaurs. I watched this so many times. Contours were so freaking sick. Um, the plot was very good. They finally got to where they wanted to be at the very end, so that they could survive. Unfortunately, like one of the guys like gave up himself to make sure that everybody else would survive. It was kind of sad. I watched this so many times, and the little bitty monkeys, I guess, would be us then, which was actually very interesting on the perception. When I was a kid, I was like, man, the monkeys are funny as fuck. But then after that, it's like super serious throughout the entire movie. They're being hunted, they're traveling, they don't have water. It's not really that funny the entire time, but I feel like it was actually very interesting. It was different from other Pixar and Disney movies, because it wasn't, there wasn't as much laughter and fun. Dumbo, never liked it. Nope, never liked it. Let's just say I watched it on like VCR, really didn't like it. I'm News Groove. If we're considering the movies and the show, this would be like a C. But if you're only counting like the first movie, and that, like, I would say it would be like a B, maybe even an A. I think it's between. Not really a. Yeah, I would say it's a B. The C's will start coming up quite a few right around now. Like Nemo was fantastic. Seen it 100 times. Will never get tired of it. Finding Dory was a little bit of a twist. Her backstory was really good. It was probably really good execution of a second movie. Unlike Frozen, I did not like the second Frozen. I did not. I didn't like it as much. I liked the first one a lot more. That's why it's gonna go D. I could watch it like 10 times. Like, if you consider both the movies like in a straight shot. The Fox and the Hound. Yes, I love Fox and the Hound. But it's just sad. I don't know. I know some parts are very sad. Some parts are happy. I just wanted them to be friends the whole time. The Good Dinosaur. I don't think I've actually seen The Good Dinosaur that many times to actually have an opinion about it. Hercules. Yep, this Hercules is definitely an S tier. I've seen it so many times. I love it. When he was fighting the monster that he cutting off the heads and they're just growing back. They're just like, stop with the head slicing. Oh, the Hunchback. I'm gonna have to say this is an F. I don't know. I feel like it was not as good. as I thought it was. I was like, man, this. I've only seen clips here and there, and never seen like the full film. And then I saw the full film, and I was like, no, this isn't as good as I thought it was gonna be. It's a main character who's, of course, has a hunchback, but I don't know. He's supposed to be the villain, but like the main guy like took him as an orphan, or the bad guy took him as an orphan. That's what I believe, unless I'm thinking about something completely different. The Incredibles. Yes, The Incredibles. The first one and the second one were amazing. And if they make a third movie and they're adults, because that's what we were expecting with the second one, hopefully they do not take however long they did last time. Was it like 10 years, 8 years? They're actually adults this time. And Jack is a freaking beast. Inside Out. If we're just talking about the first one, I would say it's kind of a C. I've seen it a handful of times. It just gets boring and stale. I could watch these ones 30 to 40 times, 100 times before I get tired of them. But I saw Inside Out quite a few times, and I don't know. I don't think it's kind of good. I saw a video kind of breaking it down. And it's like this kid wanted to leave at the very end, right? Because she was kind of like sad, and she was just gonna go back home. But like, why was it light out and then dark out when her parents barely knew that she was gone the entire time? It didn't make any sense to me, though. I think that video that I watched had a really good point. I didn't really connect the dots. Like, why was she not noticed by her parents that she was gone for such a long time? I thought that was not really good writing. The Jungle Book. I think if they actually given a realistic, now that I think about it, if they gave it a realistic scenario, kids will start doing it. That's what it was. I think that's why. If they give it to a realistic, kids will start doing it. The Jungle Book. Definitely an A. I don't think the live action was that good. But definitely the cartoon was great. I didn't like it. Lady and the Tramp. I thought some weird people sexualizing a dog. It's just weird. Lilo and Stitch. I've seen it so many times. I could say that this is by far one of the greatest movies that I've ever seen. The first one, second one, Leroy and Stitch was even good when it only came out on the TV show. And then introducing all the other characters, all the other little experiments are also really interesting. And then giving Stitch kind of his backstory. Stitch has a glitch was still good too. The Lion King. The first one was really good. The second one was really good. I know that they had maybe the live action that I haven't seen before. So I can't really say if it was good or bad, but I hear the animation was really good. Storyline for The Lion King was so good. Second movie was still really good. With their kid with what's it? Can't remember exactly. Forgot his name. The Little Mermaid. I'm gonna have to give this. I have to give this a C. The Little Mermaid. I still don't get the premise of wanting to go on land because of love, and then she couldn't talk, and then her dad turned into like a little bitty, I don't know, looked like seaweed because of she was being dumb. But I think it had really good music. This little Finn, what's his name? I think his name's Finn. Had a really good, some funny stuff in the very beginning. I don't know. I feel like the second one might have been a little bit better. I think they had a second movie. The cinematic universe. If we're just talking about like up till Infinity War, I would say it's like a between an A and a B. Only reason that is because they still had some movies that were not that good. Like Ultron, I didn't really like it as much. I feel like they could have done a lot better. And then kind of left off at like several cliffhangers. Thor Ragnarok wasn't that good. Didn't like that. Ant-Man's movie was not the greatest. I feel like the first one was a lot better. I still put it like an A, because if you're considering all the movies all together, it could still be an S, because I could watch other movies 100 times. But if you're just, I don't think it deserves an S, because I can't watch all of them and specifically say like, hey, I would watch that 100 times. Meet the Robinsons. Oh my god, I've watched this so many freaking times and I love it. I loved it, and the twist at the end is fantastic. If he of course didn't really exist, because that AI hat won. Moana, I know they're coming out with the second one. I kind of liked it, but I don't know, I felt like it was somewhat tacky. Music was not the greatest. I don't know, I feel like it was unneeded sometimes, some of the music, but it is a kids show or movie. Monsters Inc. Yeah, the first one was great, and then when they went back to high school was even more amazing. Hopefully they make a third and fourth one, because that was great. Mulan, the first one was great, but the second one was meh. Not like it. First one was great, meh. Like the second one was, I don't think it was as great. It was so much different. The Nightmare Before Christmas, I remember going to one of the Dallas Expo cons and being able to go to one of the panels for Jack, and he was like explaining it, and someone's asking him like, are you gonna make up are you gonna have like a second movie? And they're like, he's like, at the moment I haven't heard anything, but he would definitely like to reprise his role if they would. If they had like maybe a different holiday, that would be like great. Nightmare Before Christmas, I didn't appreciate it as much because I thought it was so freaking creepy. Just, I don't know, it just looked hella creepy. But as I grew older, I was like, man, this is really interesting. My sister loved it. Peter Pan, I'm gonna have to say is an F. He like took kids. Nah, not that, but it's just like, I just think it was not even that interesting. And then I don't know, I didn't really like it as much. I hadn't seen it. Same thing for like Pinocchio. I've seen it like once or twice. Jack Sparrow needs to be in the film if they decide to remake it, but it was an S. All like majority of them were all really good, maybe besides the last one. Pocahontas, I would say is a D. I could watch it and not feel like I wasted my time. With these ones that down here, I feel like I would waste my time. Like, I don't think it was that good. The Princess and the Frog were actually really good. I remember the very end where the evil dude loses and they're like, "Are you ready?" I remember that. I've watched this quite a few times. Would watch it again, but not as much as any of the other ones. Yeah, I would definitely pick all these other ones over any of these on the C list so far. Ratatouille, amazing. I would watch this quite a few times, maybe like 50-60 times, maybe not 100 times, and not get bored. I could watch it over and over and over again. I don't know, I really I just thought it was like so freaking funny. Remy was just a really was a good rat. If they ever came out with the second one, which probably they won't, ever, since it's been years, I would love to go see it. Sleeping Beauty, I don't think I could ever have an opinion about Sleeping Beauty. I don't think I remember anything really much for it. Snow White with the dwarves, I would not like to watch it. I thought it was boring, waste of time. Star Wars, if we're talking about like, you know, the trilogy, and then, you know, New Hope, the Jedi, or the like, or the Sith Strikes Back, or all of them, I would definitely put it up here, like A. But because the newer ones are not as good, maybe the Mandalorian could bring it up here because I really like the Mandalorian. But other than that, I don't think it could. I don't think it break S. To break to S. Tangled. I'm gonna have to say it's a D. I remember watching it in the movie theaters. Thought, man, this is really good. And then I watched it at home like a few times. Like, this is really boring. Like, I don't feel like it's a waste of time, but I think it's just boring. Not as good as I remembered watching it the first time. I mean, it has really good life lessons, like your adoptive mother is like using you to stay youthful. Tarzan, definitely. This is gonna be difficult. Like, if this is the first film, it would be kind of like an AS, but like the second, I think they had a second one that wasn't as great. I'm gonna have to put it at an A. Toy Story, this is an S. I will not argue with this. This is definitely an S, and I am going to watch all of them. I thought they're all fantastic. Oh, and they're having another one too. And you just can't have it end. Treasure Planet is slept on. I will not argue with this. This was a great movie, and it was still a great movie. I could watch it 100 times because I have in the past. Tron. Haven't really seen like the original. I've seen the most recent one. I know they announced another Tron, but not. I can't remember all of the stuff. Like, I know it was very innovative at the time when this I guess the second remake came out. And this one's going to be even crazier once the next one comes out, but I doubt it's going to be the same storyline. It's going to be something completely different. Up. Oh my god, I forgot Up. Man. I the memes that came from this movie were so freaking funny that it made me want to rewatch it. I could watch this 100 times and not get tired of it because I have. I've watched this Up 100 times and just a great movie. I just love all three of them. All three of these characters. Is it? Oh gosh, Wally. You know, some people hate freaking Wally. I don't know why they hate Wally. Wally's such a great movie, but it's not. I don't think it's an S. I think that also the memes that came from Wally were so funny. Also, yeah, Wally's just amazing. I don't think it's like an S tier. I can't watch it 100 times because I feel like it would just get a little bit boring and stale. But I could probably watch 40 or 50 times before I get tired. Yep. With Eva. Winnie the Pooh, trash. Sorry. Wreck-It Ralph. The first one was actually really good. The second one was actually, I felt like it was better. I liked the second one because he was connected to the internet. The first one had better, like, I think a better storyline, and this, I guess the second one was like facing his trauma. Ralph's trauma. Zootopia. So we have to put this at B. I haven't even seen, like, I know they announced the second one, or if it's already been released, I haven't seen it. I thought it was long announced before, but I guess not. Onward. I did not really like Onward. I think it wasn't like a waste of time, but I felt like it was slow. Like, the whole thing was kind of slow. The plot was, I feel like, just going through the motions. It wasn't really fun. Soul was actually really good. Um, Definitely can't beat out Aladdin or anything like that. It's gonna have to be, I think, a C. I think anything above a C is really good. Anything below here that's had a second film is probably why I put it down here. Would not watch any of these. They're not in my mind. I feel like they're a little bit too kiddish or kind of not that good. But this is it. Yeah. Wow, that's great. I finished. How long are we at? 30-ish minutes? All right. Well, I think that's the end. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like. See you next time.